Okay, this is the General Prologue, Part 2, Video 3 of 3. Open up to page 53. We've just finished describing all of the pilgrims, so your first two columns on your chart should be complete as we've gone through all the pilgrims. Now we'll finish reading the General Prologue, so page 53. Now I have told you truthfully, in a few words, the condition, the clothing and display, the number, and the reason for the gathering of this company in Southwark, at the fine hostelry that is called the Tabard, right near the Bell. But now it's time to tell you what we did that same night, when we had alighted at that hostelry, and afterwards I will tell you about our trip, and all the rest of our pilgrimage. But first I pray you, by your courtesy, not to interpret it as my vulgarity, even though I speak plainly in this matter, in telling you their words and behavior, not even though I give you their exact words. For you know as well as I do that whoever repeats a man's story is obligated to report, as nearly as he can, every word that is within the area he has been charged with, however rudely and broadly he may speak. Otherwise, he would have to falsify his tale, or invent new matter, or find new words. He may not forbear, even if his brother told the tale. He must speak one word as well as another. Christ himself spoke very broadly in Holy Writ, and you well know that that isn't vulgarity. Also, Plato says, as whoever can read him knows, the words must be cousin to the deed. Also, I pray you to forgive me if I had not presented people according to their proper ranks in this account. My wit is short, as you can easily understand. So this is the part where Chaucer apologizes for anything that he may say that may offend anyone, because he's saying it's my duty just to report what these people did, what they said, and the tales that they told. Please don't blame me for their vulgarity. Our host made each one of us welcome, and he set us down to supper at once and served us all with the best of food. The wine was strong, and we were glad to drink. Our host was indeed a seemly enough man to have been a master of ceremonies in a hall. He was a large man with prominent eyes. There isn't a more imposing burgher in all Cheapside. He was bold in his speech, prudent and well taught, and he lacked no manly quality. Besides that, he was indeed a merry man. After supper, he began to joke, and spoke of amusements among other things, when we all had paid our bills, and said as follows: Now, my lords, truly you are right welcome here with all my heart. For, on my word, to tell the truth, I haven't seen all a year so merry a company all at one time in this inn as of now. I would be glad to give you some amusement if I knew how. And just now a way to please you has occurred to me, and it shall cost nothing. You are going to Canterbury. God speed you. May the blissful martyr give you your reward. Well I know that as you go along the way, you plan to tell tales and amuse yourselves, for surely there is no consolation or mirth in riding along the way dumb as a stone, and therefore I wish to amuse you, as I said before, and give you pleasure, if you all agree with one accord to abide by my judgment, to do as I shall direct you tomorrow when you ride on your way. Then, by the soul of my dead father, I swear I shall give you my own head, unless you are amused. Hold up your hands without any more talk. Our decision was not long in forthcoming, and did not seem worth a long consultation. We granted what he asked without further conferring, and told him to give whatever verdict he pleased. Lords, said he, now listen carefully, but don't, I pray you, take what I say amiss. This is a point, to speak shortly and plainly, that each of you, for something to shorten our way with on this trip, shall tell two tales, that is, on the way to Canterbury, I mean, and on the homeward way two more, about adventures that happened formerly. And whichever one of you acquits himself the best, that is to say, whoever tells in this case the most instructive and amusing tales, shall have a supper at the cost of all the rest of us, right here by this pillar, when we come back again from Canterbury. So this is the host proposing the contest. He says, we're going to talk to each other and tell stories on our way there anyway. So everyone tells two tales on the way there to Canterbury, and everyone tells two tales on the way back. And then the person with the best tale will get a free dinner, paid for by the rest of the party, the people in the company. And to make you all the merrier, I will patiently ride with you myself, completely at my own cost, and be your guide. And whoever shall gainsay my judgment shall pay all that we spend on the way. If you agree that it be so done, tell me at once, without more words, and I will prepare myself for the early purpose. So the host then says, I will make the judgment, and I will go with you, and I will then be your guide to Canterbury. This was granted, and we gladly took our oaths, and also prayed him that we would agree to do so, and that he would be our governor, and be judge of our tales and keep count of them, and set a supper at a certain price. We would be ruled at his command in large and small matters. Thus with one accord we agreed to his judgment. Thereupon the wine was fetched at once. We drank and went to rest, every one of us, without any further tarrying. So they decide that the host is really going to have the most control out of the group. He is going to be, in Chaucer's words, the governor. The next day, when it began to lighten, our host got up, and like a cock aroused us, and gathered us together in a flock. So the next morning, they've all drank the night before, so they're not moving as fast as they perhaps should be. The host wakes everybody up and gets everybody organized. We rode forth a little more than foot pace, as far as the watering place of St. Thomas. There our host checked his horse, and said, Lords, listen if you will. You know your agreement, and I remind you of it. If evening song and morning song agree, let's see now who shall tell the first tale. As sure as ever I drink either wine or ale, whoever is rebellious toward my judgment shall pay for all that is spent by the way. Now, draw a lot before we go any further. He who gets the shortest shall begin. Sir Knight, said he, my master and my lord, now draw your lot, for that is my decision. Come near, said he, my lady prioress, and you, Sir Clerk, leave off your bashfulness. Don't deliberate. Lay a hand to everyone. So what the host does is he has like a bunch of straws, and he goes to the knight first because the knight is the most noble of all the pilgrims, and he goes then to the prioress and talks and says everyone needs to pull straws. The person who has the shortest straw will go first. At once each one drew, and to tell you in short what happened, whether it was by luck or fate or chance, the truth is that the lot fell to the knight, for which everyone was very glad. He had to tell his tale, as was right, according to the agreement in the treaty, as you have heard. What need is there to say more? When this good man saw that it was so, then as a man who was prudent and obedient in keeping his agreement without being urged, he said, Since I shall begin the game, well, welcome be the lot, in God's name. Now let us ride and listen to what I say. And with these words we rode forth on our way. He began his tale at once, most cheerfully, and spoke as follows. So we end the general prologue with the knight winning the contest of pulling the straws. The knight pulls the shortest straw, therefore he will tell the first tale. And Chaucer agrees that he should tell the first tale because he is the most noble, and it must be luck or fate or chance that he actually won the competition. So that concludes the general prologue. You should have the first two columns of your chart completely filled out. You should have also taken some notes, annotated the photocopy of the general prologue, highlighted some important facts, maybe circled vocabulary words. Make sure you have a clear and complete understanding of what's happening in the general prologue. If you have any questions, make sure you write them down and ask me the next time we have class.